Welcome back, Android developers. Now in this section we're going to start talking about input controls. So we'll learn about the most used Android input controls such as radio button, seek bar, checkbox, toggle button. Now in this video we're going to start by talking about alert dialog. And a dialog in Android is a small window that prompts the user to make a decision or enter some additional information. Usually a dialog does not fill the screen and is normally used for modal events that require user to take an action before they can proceed. Alright, so the first thing we do, let's go ahead and create our first a new project. So file, say new project. We're gonna call Alert Dialogs. Okay, go keep next. And that's all good. Go next. Blank is fine. Finish. And finish. Perfect. Now our new project is being built by Android Studio. Alright, there it is. We have our project already done. Let's get rid of this hello world here. Right click and delete. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put a button. This is the button that will be clicked and then display our alert dialog. Let's go ahead, double click and create a text. And let's go ahead and actually create a new source, string value. I'm gonna call it show title. Okay, resource value, show dialog. That's wonderful, and go okay, and there it is. Perfect. Now let's make sure we have an ID. Let's give it an ID of show button ID. Okay. While we're here and we have a lot of knowledge now on Android, let's go ahead and change this background to a much attractive color. Let's go to color. Let's do this color. Why not? There we go. Okay, nice and beautiful. We're gonna go to our Java file, our main activity, and I'm gonna go ahead and just put here activity. It doesn't matter at this point, but I just like to have it there, and in that case I need to import the activity, so just here and go Alt or Option and enter, and then we have our activity, and all of this we don't need, so we're gonna go ahead and delete this for now. Now here we're gonna go ahead and create an instance variable to our button, so we say private button show dialog, and of course let's import that. Set up our show dialog. So show dialog is equal to, it's a type button, and then we say find view by ID r.id dot show button. Go ahead and then set up our on click listener. So show dialog dot set on click listener, and say new view dot on click listener. Press this there. Let's go right click and generate. We're going to go and get implement methods, and there it is, our on click method, and enter. Excellent. So this is where we're going to show our alert dialog. Let's go ahead and create our instance variable here. So private, and it's an alert dialog dot builder, an instance variable of type alert dialog builder. Now here what we can do now, we can start setting things up for our alert dialog. So the first thing, we're going to go ahead and instantiate our dialog instance variable. So dialog is equal to new alert dialog builder, and inside we have to put a context. In this case we can just say main activity dot this. That works perfect. Now here we're going to go ahead and set the title for our dialog. So we can put a set title. To set a title, say dialog, since we've instantiated our dialog object here, dot set title. Very simple. What we can do here, we could go ahead and just put a text title here. That's perfectly fine, but I want to make sure we always keep into the habit of creating our string. So every string type that we use in our Java file or in our project, we need to put everything in our strings.xml. It's a really good habit. So I'm going to go ahead here and create and say string. It's going to name. I'm going to call it dialog title. I'm going to say then my dialog, and while we're here, let's put another string here. I'm going to call dialog message. Each dialog needs to have a message. You can say hello, I am your dialog. Okay, save that and go back to our main. Now in order for us to access our string here, also you just say get resources. We've done this before. Dot get string, because it's string type, And inside there, we'll go at r.strings, and then we go say dialog title. And there it is. Now let's set a message now. We say dialog.set message. Again, we'll get resources, and then get strings, and then say r.strings. We go to string folder, enter dialog message. Very simple. So just setting things up here. And also the dialog, we can set it to be cancelable, meaning that if the user clicks outside of that dialog area, it can cancel. But we don't want that to happen. We want to be able to exit from our dialog from either clicking the buttons that we're going to set up. So we're going to say then dialog dot set cancelable to false, because we don't want it for people to be able to cancel our dialog unless they click the buttons. Now let's set our buttons now inside of our dialog. Usually a dialog has two buttons, a positive one that say yes, or a negative one that say oh no. So this case here, positive button. So how to set a positive button? Again, just go dialog dot set positive button. And now here we can continue doing what we've been doing, getting our resources from a string. But let's go ahead and create our positive button here. So string, I'm gonna call positive button. I'm gonna say yes. Create another one. String, I'm gonna say negative button, and we're gonna say no. Okay, let's go back here, and just like we've been doing, we're gonna go get resources. Okay, dot get strings, and inside r dot strings dot yes. Positive, we call it positive button. So we get that. Now the thing also to remember, our set positive button function here, which sets up our positive yes button, takes a few arguments. So the first one is our string, our title of the button, the name we want to see. And the second one is the on-click event. The way we do this is very simple. We just say new dialog interface, and just hit enter. And as you can see, everything is populated here. Let's just put a semicolon here. Quite. So what we did here, we pass in our set positive button, we passed in our string, our name positive button here, and then also we attached a dialog interface that on click, so that when you click this positive button, something happens. In this case, in our function here on click, all we want to do is just exit our activity. So exit. So what do? We know we are on main activity.java, so we can say main activity.this.finish. Obviously, on your applications, you would put other functionalities that you want the users to have once they click a positive button. Now we have our dialog positive set. Let's go ahead and also set negative one. So say set, do the same thing. So dialog dot set negative button. We do the same thing. So get resources dot get strings, because we're accessing our string XML. So r dot string, there it is, that negative button. There it is, and we do the same thing here. We say new dialog interface, enter, there it is. Make sure we have a semicolon because it's a statement. And here we can just cancel our dialog. So we can say then dialog.cancel, which essentially just closes out the dialog. Now you would think this is it. You would think, okay, we're ready now, we can just run this app and then we're going to see our dialog. Well, not quite done yet. We now have to create the actual dialog and then make sure that it shows and show it. The way we do it, we create alert dialog again, and we'll name it, let's say, alert D, okay, for short, is equal to dialog, the one we just created here, we've been setting up, dot create. Now we're actually creating the dialog that we can show. We can then say alert D, which is the actual dialog object, we can go ahead and show. We say dot show. Good. Let's go ahead and run through one more time. So what we did here, we have a button in our activity main here that we created. So when you click on this button, we want to be able to show the dialog. In our Java file here, we instantiated our show dialog instance variable, and we also instantiated our dialog of type alert dialog.builder. So this is our builder dialog, instantiated here. Here we're getting our button ID, and right here we're actually setting on click listener to our button here. We've done this a few times. Now inside of our on-click listener of our button show dialog, that's where we are setting up the actual alert dialog. So what we do here, we're instantiating our alert dialog builder. We're passing in our main activity as the context, and then we're setting the title. We're setting this message to show, making sure that it's not cancelable, and we're setting two buttons, the positive one, which has the yes text, and when they click on that, we are just exiting this main activity here. And we have the negative button, which when we click on it, just cancel our alert dialog. And then here, that's where we're actually creating the object for our dialog, and then we're showing it. All right, let's save this and run it. And there it is. Wonderful. Okay, now with any luck, if we go show dialog, there it is. Now you have your dialog. It says my dialog. It's got its title, and there's this message hello dialog here, and we have yes, yes, or no. Let's go for no. As you see, if you say no, it just, as we specified here, if it's negative, if it's no, just cancel it. Let's go again, and if it's yes, just gets out of our app. You've learned how to create your own dialogues. Now, there's many things you can do, of course, add to your dialogues. One of which is we can also add icons. In order to add an icon, you say dialog.set icon. We could have used any icon we wanted. We could have used an icon that we have here in our drawables, but also Android comes with a lot of different icons that you can use. The way you access Android native icons, well, you say Android.r.drawable, because those are just images, and then you can choose anything you want. As you can see, there's many you can choose here. Let's just get a star, right, and save that. And as you can see, it even shows us our little star here. How great is that? There it is, our star. Great. Now let's go ahead and save this and run again. We're going to be able to see our star showing up as an icon. All right, there it is. Let's go show dialog, and there you have it. You have an icon that you just put it in your code here. Perfect. Now go ahead and play around and add, figure out a way to add, let's say, an image, a drawable here. Let's say if you want to go and add the IC launcher here. How would you do it? All right, see you in the next video.